Hi everyone, I'm Michael with Bad Goblin Games, and in this video I want to give you a brief overview of how flying works in Ages of Conflict. Ages of Conflict allows you to fight battles from multiple genres, and that includes fantasy. And if you're dealing with fantasy, then you expect to see dragons, pegasi, airships, and all sorts of other flyers. Flyers in Ages of Conflict use elevations to help determine where a flyer is in relation to other units. Flyers work at one of three elevations: ground, airborne, and soaring. Now, ground is where all non-flying units operate. So this is basically the main battlefield where all your infantry, cavalry, and so far are hanging out. This is where this is where all the main battles taking place. Airborne flyers have taken flight, so they're flying, though they aren't too high, and so they can still take part in the battle raging on the ground, meaning they can target enemy units on the ground, and enemies on the ground can target the flyer. Now, soaring units are much higher. They're probably hanging around in the clouds somewhere. Now, the general rule when dealing with elevations is that units more than one elevation apart cannot interact with each other. This means soaring units are too high to target units on the ground, and they in turn are too high to be targeted by units on the ground. A consequence of this is that flyers in Ages of Conflict are true flyers. They aren't forced to land every turn for game balance or arbitrary purposes. And so if you have a flyer and your opponent has no flyers and they have no ranged weapons, your flyer can't be targeted. So for this reason, we suggest ensuring your opponent is okay with the use of flyers. The flying units, meaning units at airborne or soaring elevations, can only be targeted by units on the ground that have a ranged weapon. So if a unit on the ground wants to target a unit at airborne or soaring, they're going to need to use a bow, a ballistae, a musket, something along those lines. Now, all ranged weapons have a maximum range, and enemies beyond that maximum range cannot be targeted. So determining the range between two units on the ground is simple. You really just measure the distance between the two. However, when we're dealing with flying units, it's a bit different because not only are we dealing with the horizontal distance or the horizontal range, meaning just the distance between the two, now we also have to take into account the vertical plane, how high the unit is. So to check the range when targeting a flyer, you measure the distance between the two units as normal, then you roll a d10 and add the result to the unit measured. So, for example, suppose we have a unit of halfling slingers, and they target a unit of elves on Pegasi, and the elves are at airborne elevation. So, since they're only one elevation away, the halflings can target them. The elves measure 20 centimeters away. A d10 is rolled, resulting in an 8. So we add the 8 to the 20. That gives us a total range of 28 centimeters. So the Pegasi are 28 centimeters away from the halflings. The same process is used if a flying unit targets a ground unit. In this example, we have a dragon, and this dragon is swooping in to breathe fire on a unit of fungoid warriors. So the distance between the dragon and the fungoid is 12 centimeters. A d10 is rolled, resulting in a 3 for a total distance of 15 centimeters. The examples I've given here involve a flyer and a ground unit, though the process stays the same if you have two flyers attacking each other from different elevations. If you have one flyer at airborne and another at soaring, then use the same process. You measure and then you add 1d10 centimeters to the distance. Flying creatures do have the option of specifying a range rather than relying upon a random roll. This is useful if the flying creature's ranged attack is short. So for example, if the dragon's breath weapon has a maximum range of 10 centimeters, then the dragon's player probably doesn't want to rely upon a random d10 roll that could result in the dragon being too far away to use its breath weapon. So for this reason, the player controlling the dragon has the option of specifying the dragon is at a particular height rather than using the random d10. In our example here, the dragon is measured at 5 centimeters away, though the dragon player specifies the dragon is only 1 centimeter high rather than relying upon a d10 roll. And this gives a total distance of 6 centimeters. If the dragon player does this, then the dragon's height is set at 1 centimeter until it is activated again the following turn. So this means that the fungoids have not yet been activated, and if they survive the dragon's attack, then if they in turn attack the dragon with a ranged weapon, the dragon would be 6 centimeters away. Well, that'll do it for our quick review of flying in Ages of Conflict. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, we do have several others available that cover other aspects of the Ages of Conflict system. And you can also join us on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/Ages of Conflict. Thank you.